Hello, I'm Damian Barrett and welcome to the 2018 wash-up for the St Kilda Football Club, brought to you by Karcher. Callum Twomey and Matthew Lloyd are here, and Cal, the Saints were one of the disappointments of the season, but can they rebound quickly? Is there enough talent on their list to get back up the ladder?
Yeah, in a word, Damo, no. And that's why they need to be aggressive in the trade period, in the off-season, get things right and work out ways to develop their players better, because at the moment they just don't have those structures in place.
Lloyd, we'll start with some highlights, and there weren't too many.
There weren't, but I love this last quarter of the Saints because they were under siege. I remember the cameras panning to Alan Richardson, thinking if they lose this, could he be sacked in that week? And what a comeback. They kicked 5-0 in that last quarter. The Suns didn't score, and they actually turned their form around a little bit in that next month as a result of that win, beating Melbourne a couple of weeks later.
You know you're struggling when your best win of the season comes against the Suns.
That's right.
My highlight came late in the year. It was round 20 when Nathan Freeman finally got his first chance at an AFL level, and it was a highlight at the time. He played that game, he played round 21, and yet by round 22 he was back in the VFL. And right now, Cal, he's going to be under some pressure to even retain his spot on the list.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he was at the Saints next year, unfortunately. He's such a likeable kid and has gone through so much over 5 years, as you said.
It was great to see him out there.
It was great, and it was great that they
Toil.
finally gave him a chance. But uncontracted, out of contract and injury prone, I don't think there's a spot for him next year at the Saints.
So many concerns for the club, as you touched on off the top. Some of the lowlights that you've identified?
Yeah, Dylan Robertson was a scary moment, wasn't it, for everyone, not just Saints fans, not just for the St Kilda Footy Club, but also just footy fans in general. This moment down at Geelong in round 4, a hard issue ruled him out for the rest of the season, robbed the Saints of an important defender, but I think all concerns were just with him.
It's just worrying footage, isn't it? When
It's
you see
distressing.
it like that? Yeah.
It's distressing for all the players who are involved, who saw it. He was back running in the closing stages of the season, training, and is hopeful of playing again in 2019 and being ready to go on day one of pre-season. But a valuable player they missed, and we all just hope that he's ready to go and okay.
Yep. Go back to Good Friday, the Good Friday nightmare as it was for the Saints early in the year. We weren't sure where they were going to be in 2018, but we, unfortunately for them and themselves, got a feeling for it when the litany of errors happened. I mean, it was a dreadful, unwatchable first half of football on that occasion, and that particular loss there, it just got really bad as the afternoon wore on, and it was the start of an 11-game streak where they were unable to win a game of footy, and clearly leaves some doubt as to whether they've got the right to have a role in that good... No, they don't. No, they couldn't possibly retain that, I wouldn't have thought, after what they dished up this year.
I thought that was just a bad day when I walked away, but pretty much summed up their season, just how poor...
Let's mark him out of 10, Lordo, as we do, and as we do in the wash-ups, we start with you.
Yeah, just a 2 for mine, and possibly too kind there too.
Yeah, I'm a bit with you, Lloyd. In retrospect, 2 might have been too nice.
Yeah, you are. You're too soft, you two. I've gone 0.5 if I was allowed to, but I'm giving them 1. Who cleaned up in 2018 for the Saints?
For me, Damo, just love Jade Gresham. What a player he's becoming for St Kilda. I think for a couple of years now. Last year, I know he kicked a lot of points, but kicked plenty of goals too. And this year, kicked a bag of 6 against Richmond. He kicked another bag of 5 against the Melbourne Football Club. So he's a big game player. He's got X factor. It's what St Kilda don't have.
People love Daniel Rioli and talk about him and rave about him for all good reason, but his numbers stack up so much better than Rioli's.
Oh yeah, Rioli's a goal-a-game player. Gresham is capable of kicking bags, and that's what he can do. Imagine he was in a top 4 side. He'd be absolutely sensational, and he can do that as well.
You like him, don't you, Lotto? You've talked him up all
I
career.
think he's fantastic, and we've all loved Billings, but he's probably gone past him as well.
The guy who's been busy off the field has been Simon Lethlean. The new footy boss has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Obviously, they're making big changes. Assistant coaches are out. The list manager's been replaced. The president's going to be changed as well. So Simon Lethlean's got a busy off-season, and all the future, I think, is in his hands at the Saints.
Damo, could he be the CEO next year?
Yeah, he's certainly possibly going to head down that path. Matt Finnis is still there, and I think they'll go into 2019 with him, but there's a fair bit of talk around that. There's a lot of people under pressure at the Saints. I'll kick it off here with just the number of key forwards they've got. McCartan, Membry, Bruce, Battle, Marshall. They've all got talent. We're yet to see them produce it absolutely consistently, and I think clearly they can't all fit into the same forward line, and so I'd be thinking one of them, maybe 2, would seek a move elsewhere.
What value would McCartan have, you think?
Well, there's some concerns on his body, isn't there? I think it'll be a selection somewhere in the second round, probably at this point, which is a sad sort of result, given he was a number 1 pick only 4 years ago, but we just haven't seen him come on, unfortunately.
You speak about key forwards, Damo. What about the ruckman at St Kilda? Tom Hickey and obviously Billy Long. How disappointing have they been? In the end, Lewis Pearce took their spot. Scott Lyce said if they can get him in.
You can see why they're going for him, because those two have just been terrible, really.
It's being able to sell themselves to a key candidate, which is their worry. Lordo, were there any laughs in 2018 for the Saints?
We can laugh, but I don't think St Kilda supporters will laugh. This was last year. Josh Bruce, we thought was the worst miss in the history of football.
It was.
Well, at the same venue, a year later, pretty much to the day, their other key forward did this. That's probably nearly as bad a loss. And if that's not bad enough, look at Richo pulling his hair out. We'll watch their captain very shortly. Jaron Geary, let's take a look at him having a shot. A torpedo, he's just gone for the launch. I don't think you could execute that any worse. So we can
actually do it backwards. If the camera kept rolling, it goes backwards.
Meters gained, he was minus for that go.
You just don't go for it at that point.
So many places in which they can improve the Saints. I'm just going to put down Paddy McCartan as probably the number one area of improvement. 4 years in the system, we don't know whether he's going to be a good player or even just an ordinary player. We need to find out in 2019. He needs to present himself in good condition to give himself every possible chance. And I know there's medical issues around what he's done to this point, but to me, it just needs to go to the absolute nth degree to find out once and for all.
I would also say it's hard being a forward in that forward line as well, given the delivery that you get. And that's why I think they should be targeting a classy midfielder with their first pick. They've got pick 3 at the moment, guys, and Isaac Rankin is the man for them. I watched him play a lot this year, and he's just the star. He's a back-to-back All-Australian. We've seen him dominating for West Adelaide. Senior side here in the sample. He's just a really skillful player across half forward. Eventually he'll move into the midfield, but he's a game breaker, and they just don't have them. Jake Gresham's their only one. If they bring in Isaac around that spot at pick 3 or 4, whichever they end up with.
And he's ready to go, Kel?
He's ready to go. He will play 20 games next year and dominate some of them. So we saw him at the championships. He lifts for the big stage. He loves it. And he's ready to play AFL footy. So hopefully, for Saints fans, he's wearing the red, white and black next year.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you anymore, Cal, because of this reason. We've put a package together here of their poor skills throughout the year. It was just horrible. It started with the goal kicking, where they were getting 3-10, 1-6. You know, they were the results they were having at half-time, but it's their field kicking as well. They have to look at their development program. They have to look at the drills that they're doing at training. Look at the way Hawthorn have just changed things with Clarkson and Rath and the way they execute at training and then can take it to games. I'm not sure what they're doing down at Moorabbin Damo, but this just isn't an AFL standard.
And to your point there, Lloyd, that troll of rules they had at the St Kilda training session, the AFL actually cut that session short because of the skill errors. It was actually just destroying what they were hoping to get with the experimentation around the rules. So I think you've highlighted something really serious there, Lloyd. OK, 2019 for the Saints. Where do we see them finishing?
I've got them 12 to 14, Damo, so I think they can win a few more games and get in that bracket.
I think they should be aiming for 12.
Yeah, I don't like what I see, and I've got them on the rung below where you guys are.
How many sides have you got in that bracket?
Lloyd, I'll call it the way I see it, as you normally do. Lloyd, thank you, Cal, thank you, and that's the wash-up for the Saints in 2018.